I don't know. Soon. Why does no one believe me that we have the Pokemon license? Pikachu? What's that? I should stop telling them and just start showing them? What a great idea. Yes, this will work perfectly. When? 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 Hey, my fellow Omi homies, it's Foster, and I'm back at it again with another VeVe and Ecomi video. Hope you guys like that intro. Just trying to have a little bit of fun, change things up a little bit, poke a little bit of fun at this topic, because I know that everyone is going to have their opinions and make fun of me for even talking about this. But at the same time, I do think that there is some actual evidence and information that needs to be covered that I do think warrants conversation. And I'm curious to hear what you guys think. So as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I am curious to hear all of your guys' thoughts with all of the information that I am presenting with you, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this one. So today we're going to be covering all of the evidence that I would say currently exists to support a Pokemon license on the VeVe app. When I say evidence, it's not, hey, someone talked about this as an off-brow comment and it sounded like a good idea. This is coming from either the actual team itself or publications to support a move from Pokemon to come onto VeVe. It's not exhaustive, but I think it's enough to have as a catalog so that we can look back on this and add to it if necessary and see what other evidence may exist. So with that being said, I'll start off with the most obvious catalyst that I think bodes well for us securing the Pokemon license, and that is the current head of licensing with Ecomi, Alfred R. Kahn. I've pulled up his Wikipedia. You guys can always pause the video and read it in the background for those of you that don't know, but for those of you that do, Alfred Kahn is responsible for bringing Pocket Monsters from Japan and rebranding it to Pokemon in the early 1990s. As you can see here, and I highlighted it on the screen, 4Kids Entertainment, which Alfred Kahn founded and is the CEO, became the largest trading entity in North America in the 1990s, and this was due to the success of the licensing of the Japanese anime series Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And that second part will come in important later, so we'll touch back to that afterwards. But this just goes to show that he created the brand as to what it is today. And now he is working with Ecomi in a new genre, which is digital instead of physical. But logic would dictate that he would want to move a successful physical brand onto the digital realm, which is why he got involved in Ecomi in the first place. It's speculative. It's the beginning of the argument, but it's enough to give us a little bit of background. So where do we go from there? Well, we move from their head of licensing to the CEO itself, David Yu. For those of you that don't know, David Yu and Dan Carruthers are the two co-founders of Ecomi, and David Yu has been an avid collector and involved in collectibles for over 20 years. This is a Medium article published by Ecomi that talks about who David Yu and Dan Carruthers is, and it goes over a little bit of the history that David Yu has. I'm not going to read through all of it right now because I am working on the length of my videos, but with that being said, the important thing to point out in this regard is that David was the first person to bring some of the world's biggest licenses to New Zealand and Australasia, including Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! So these are all licenses that David Yu has under Games R Us, which he is the CEO for and founded 20 years ago. When we think about the fact that Alfred Kahn created Pokemon and rebranded it from Pocket Monsters back in the 1990s, what we don't see, but what happened in the background, is that David Yu was actually the first person that Alfred Kahn awarded the Pokemon license to. They have a history dating back several decades, and they have been able to build up a fantastic business relationship, which is why you now see Alfred Kahn as the head of licensing working with David Yu on these ventures. So now we know that the head of licensing created Pokemon, in effect, back in the 1990s, and we know that David Yu, who is the current CEO of Ecomi, not only currently holds the Pokemon license through Games R Us, but he's also an avid collector, is passionate about collecting, and understands the value of collectibles. Okay, things are starting to come together a little bit, but it's still not the smoking gun. Who is Jeremy Padua? Jeremy Padua is the co-president and partner of Wicked Cool Toys. For those of you that don't know who Wicked Cool Toys are, they are a physical toys company, and the Pokemon company partnered with them and named Wicked Cool Toys as a master toy licensee back in 2017. So Jeremy Padua is the person who is responsible for creating the physical toy brands through Wicked Cool Toys and Jazzwares and actually selling them all around the world. So why is that important? Well, Jeremy Padua is very passionate about Ecomi. He attends most, if not all, of the AMAs and often comes up and speaks on his feelings and opinions on the project. And he is not an advisor to Ecomi. He is an investor, and he has come out publicly and said that several times, that he invests in the company because he believes in their vision. We know, based on an AMA that took place last week, that David Yu indicated that he had spoken with Jeremy Padua 3 years ago, so back in 2018. We don't know what they spoke about, but we know that they had a conversation, and ever since, Jeremy Padua has been very bullish on the project and is openly investing in the project and speaks positively of it. So we now have the head of licensing as the person who created Pokemon back in the 1990s. We have the current CEO of Ecomi, David Yu, who holds the Pokemon license through Games R Us and who is an avid and passionate collector and believes in the Pokemon brand. And then you have Jeremy Padua, who currently is the global toy licensor through his company and deals with the physical Pokemon product brands. Jeremy Padua was actually asked in this AMA whether he thought Pokemon would be a good fit for the application. And his basic response to Dan Carruthers was, I don't know whether or not I can comment on this due to my company being publicly traded, so I'm not going to say anything. Now, yes, that could go in the direction of, yeah, no, they don't have it, but I'm far more inclined to believe with the 3 individuals that I've already mentioned and with the further evidence that I'm about to show you that it's the exact opposite. We know that as recently as 2018, or as far back, I should say, as 2018, that Ecomi has been putting out tweets and information about Pokemon. This Medium article, which was not written by anyone affiliated with Ecomi, says, why don't we just put Pokemon cards on the blockchain? This is 2018, so 2 years after the Pokemon Go craze first started with Niantic. And I'm sure that David and Dan were able to see the craze that this was causing in augmented reality, which was a major focus of the VeVe app when they were creating it back in 2017. For all we know, Pokemon Go was the thing that inspired them to move onto the blockchain in the first place. So this article, which I'm not going to read at length, but it does cover why it would make perfect sense to move Pokemon onto the blockchain. And as you can see, Ecomi retweeted this article and said, what a great question. And there's several tweets back in 2018 from Ecomi talking about the Pokemon license, talking about Alfred Kahn's affiliation with Pokemon. And as a company that is as concerned with regulation and compliance as they are, I find it very unlikely that Ecomi on their official channels would be tweeting out and putting out information about the Pokemon license if they did not have it, because that could open themselves up to some form of liability, because Pokemon could come back and say, well, you're essentially advertising and promoting your brand by using our brand. Similarly to how we saw with Marvel, when people were able to find the patent trade documents that were submitted for the images for the VeVe app in the United States, and it had Marvel characters and things on it. And people said, well, they wouldn't have been able to submit that to an official patent office if they didn't have those characters, because it'd be trademark infringement. And of course, we know 1 or 2 months after that information came out, they announced the Marvel license. So because of that, I also believe that this is another factor to support it. But even then, I would agree it's still not enough. So let's move on to the next thing. Where is VeVe migrating to right now? Immutable X. Immutable X will be the layer 2 platform for NFTs on Ethereum. We know that we're in the middle of that migration right now. This was sent to me by a member of the community, and Kyle Wilson actually did a fantastic video covering this topic a few days ago that I wanted to add on to, which is what inspired me to make this video. This website that you see up here, and you guys can head to it, is not the official Immutable X website. It is the test net for Immutable that was provided to members of the community because someone was able to locate it, and it's not locked. So people are able to just go onto the website and check it out for themselves. So why am I on the test net for Immutable X? Why does this matter? Well, for a couple of reasons. First of which, so that you know that it's the real thing, and as you can see, VeVe is on this test net. We know that VeVe appears on the real one as well, so we know that these things are coming. However, there are a few things that don't appear on the actual website that appear on this test net that I think you guys will find very interesting. And this is it. The Pokemon trading card game has the actual images on the Immutable X website right now. Now I know what you guys are saying. What is its relation to VeVe? And you're correct. There is no evidence on the website itself that shows that Pokemon and VeVe are directly linked. And I want to make that point very clear right now. But what this does show, and what I think is even more important in the interim until anything is formally announced, is that this confirms that the Pokemon company is willing to have their IP on the blockchain. We now know that the trading card game, whether or not VeVe is the one that holds that aspect of the license, will likely appear on Immutable X on the layer 2 solution for trading cards. We also see Yu-Gi-Oh! Is here as well. This is very interesting to me because when you account for everything else that's going on in the background, it really starts to make sense and paint a very interesting picture. I think one of two things come out of this, and it's that either A, Pokemon Company is rubbing it in Ikomi's face that they couldn't secure the license, and they're going to put it on the exact same chain that VeVe is moving to really just rub it into them, or conversely, there is a very logical reason why the Pokemon Company would be using the exact same chain that VeVe is moving to around the same time that they're moving to it. And I'm not going to give you one way or the other. You guys decide for yourself, but I know where I sit on that spectrum. How can we wrap this all up into a nice little package, bow, get ready for the holidays, get everyone excited? I'm going to play this clip. This is from, shout out to Cavella Anderson. Thank you so much for recording this. This happened last night, and I actually had a member of the community reach out to me this morning because it took place at 3 a.m. and I was asleep. They said, you really need to listen to this one part of this AMA. What David said will blow your mind. And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to play it through, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. And I think you guys are going to be very pleased.
Okay, thank you. Really, really good work. VeVe, amazing. Really, really good. In my area, people don't really have internet, but good work. My question, when Pokemon?
The when Pokemon. The when Pokemon.
Yes.
That's not the question we need to worry about, guys. His answer is what's important.
Best way to listen, we would not be announcing any deal or any announcement through, not in a proper forum. So I think I mentioned earlier to you guys all is that we as a company, and we got a lot of things we're fixing up in the app. We need to ensure this, security is fine. We need to make sure the scalability, the user engagement, and it's a very wide age group in Pokemon. We just need to make sure there's certain things these company look for, and we need to tick all the boxes. And we're working on it. Day and night, I love the cartoon. It's one of the first property that I brought to New Zealand. I did extremely well on, thanks to Al. I was very fortunate to be part of the initial growth of all the trading card craze and so on, and still happening now. I mean, I just received my 25th anniversary limited edition Pokemon trainer box, you know. And you know, I love the product, I love the brand, and I know our fans love it and it's crazy asking for it. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Awesome.
I'll stop it there, guys, but I think there's a couple really awesome takeaways that we need to take from that. Firstly, David has come out and acknowledged that he's working on it. Usually they skirt around the question and say, you know, we don't talk about that, you know, we want to see it, whatever. He is acknowledging, I would think for the first time publicly, that they are actively working on it. But he doesn't specify what it is. And why do I think that that's important? If you go back and listen to the first part of his statement, he was actually focusing and referring on the quality of the app. He wasn't talking about the licensing. He was talking about the fact that the Pokemon Company is very specific about who they give out their IP to, and that the application that they have, the VeVe app, has some scaling and issues that they need to work on and fix to check all of the boxes in order for Pokemon to come in. Now, everyone's going to interpret that differently, but how I interpret that personally is that when David says he's working on it, he is working on the application and improving the way that the app functions and is able to be used by the user base so that Pokemon can say, yes, you're at the point now where we feel comfortable announcing the fact that you have our license. And I very much do believe that, guys. When you really, and I recommend, listen back to what David said a couple times. I did it 2 or 3 times just to make sure that I wasn't losing my mind. And I even asked a couple other members in the community, I said, does this sound like the same thing that I'm hearing? And everyone agreed with me. They said, yeah, I think you might be onto something there. So really listen back to what was said there, and you'll start to understand that it's not a matter of if we have the Pokemon license. It's simply just when we are able to announce it. And guys, I've said this before. I've said it for months. I've said it makes no sense to announce the Pokemon license, which is the pinnacle of licensing, when you have less than 1 million users and aren't doing any marketing. And even if you were to announce it, the app could not handle the load that you're going to be putting on it. You need to wait until you migrate to a new blockchain. You have more of the core and fundamental factors working well in the app so that more users can come in and actually use it. What's the point in announcing a Pokemon license and having another 2 million people come in if people are concerned about bots? They're concerned about not being able to secure drops. There's no actual engagement and activity outside of the app other than just actual drop day. You want an immersive experience if you have Pokemon. And when I think of immersive experiences, I think of the VeVeverse. I think of the Master Collector program. I think of the MTL so that you can pull money out. I think about Omi to NFT. We know all of these things are coming, but they're not here yet. So when David says they need to check off all the boxes, they're aware of the boxes that they need to check off in order to be able to announce this license. Not to be able to secure the license. I personally believe they've had the license secured for years for the reasons that I've outlined up until we played this video. But at the same time, they are a business and they are forward thinking and they look at units of measurement in years rather than the days and hours that we're used to in crypto. And they are fine with waiting until the app is where it needs to be before they come out with a bombshell like that. So that's just my thoughts, guys. Call me a moon boy, call me a maxi, whatever you want. At the end of the day, I really do believe that we have the Pokemon license, but I'm also very curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this video and through everything with my channel. The support has been absolutely fantastic. Just a reminder that I will be doing a live stream at the end of this month. For anyone that is subscribed, if you tune into the live stream, you will have a chance to win one of at least 3 VeVe collectibles valued of at least $50. And that's just my thank you back to you guys for taking the time to watch my videos and interact with me. I've always really appreciated the support. So thank you so much. With that being said, I love you guys. Peace.